Innovators. My name is Alex Banister, and in today's video, we're going to be reacting to a video and add my commentary on how Canada has gone to authoritarian shithole of the third world. Let's dive into it.
Well, Canada, get ready to be a full-on police state, 1984 style. If Parliament passes a few bills, we're going to alert you to. The Justice Center for Constitutional Freedom is warning specifically about bills C2, C8, and C9. I'm going to summarize them together, and then we'll break them down. If they are passed, they would allow the government to open your mail, criminalize the use of cash, allow for warrantless search, prosecute Canadians for opinions, kick you off the internet, have full access to your social media data by allowing social media companies to basically become an arm of the government, allow your neighbor to report you for possible hate crimes so that the government literally can put you on house arrest for the potential, that's like Minority Report, for the potential to do a hate crime if they just don't like the way you use the internet or your opinions. Joining us to discuss is John Carpe. He's the president of the Justice Center for Constitutional Freedom. He's also the author of Corrupted by Fear, How the Charter Was Betrayed and What Canadians Can Do About It. So thank you for joining us. Can you sort of give us an overarching warning about these, and then we'll talk about it little by little. There was someone in the chat saying, I'm from Canada and you're wrong. They didn't say how. So tell us what's the fact.
Well, we're not as bad as the United Kingdom, where, as you know, there were over 12,000 arrests of people for what they said on social media, making comments against immigration policy. We're not there yet, but we are poised to take that leap. If all of this legislation gets through, so the bills C2, C8, C9, they're all in second reading before the House of Commons. And the House of Commons is sitting for quite a few more weeks before Christmas, so there's ample opportunity. The Liberal government of Marks Carney, as I call him, it's actually Mark Carney, but I say Marks Carney, they have a minority. So, however, it's not that hard, depending on which bill. If they get the support from one of the opposition parties, they can still push things through. So the things that you mentioned are accurate. If all three bills pass in their current form, it will be illegal to use cash in amounts 10,000 or more. Canada Post will have the authority to open letter mail without a warrant. The government will be able to order to kick individual Canadians off the internet by ordering a telecommunications service provider. So some company that provides your internet or provides your phone, they can order that company to kick an individual off phone and off internet. And also there's going to be a lot more prosecutions for hate speech, even though they can't really define hate because it's an emotion and it's subjective. But if these three bills pass, we're going to be close to a police state. We'll certainly be at the mercy of the government in terms of how bad they want to make it for us.
So what is the justification that they would use in this Combating Hate Act? No, it's the Cybersecurity Act that would allow them to kick you off the internet. So they're saying, because we can't allow hateful people the internet. So by their logic, if I'm a hateful person, I just need to, like my mom used to say, sit in the corner and think about it. That's what they want to happen.
The pretext is always safety and security. You know, politicians never take away your rights and freedoms without offering a nice sounding pretext. And so the Canadian government's very good at messaging, well, we want to protect you from hate. We want to protect you from hate speech. We want to protect you from misinformation, from disinformation. So therefore, you've got to give up your freedom of expression, and you have to let us regulate and control the internet. We already have a bill that was passed 2 years ago that empowers the Canadian Radio Telecommunications Commission, which is a federal national regulatory body, to monitor websites and podcasts for Canadian content. They haven't yet taken actions to start defining it and imposing it, but it's there on the books.
Now hold on for just a second. Canadians, are y'all okay over there? Because last time I checked, You elected a liberal government because of how much you don't like, let's just say, the president of the United States due to tariffs. I mean, I don't get it. If you keep on electing a liberal tyrant or a liberal retard named, let's just say, Mark Carney or Justin Trudeau, I mean, what are you going to get in return? Massive amounts of censorship. And you know what I said in the beginning of playing this video? I just said that Canada's turning into a third world shithole. And guess what? I was right. The best you could really do right now is just to fight back and say no. That's just all you can do. And if this also keeps going, let's just say Western nationwide, we're cooked. And that's how bad it's really gotten. So it's time for you to own your freedom and be brave. And also be happy as well, because that's literally the 8 words that I always tell myself every time. It is time to own your freedom and fight back.
And so the pretext is to keep you safe, protect you. And so therefore, we're going to ban hate speech by empowering police and prosecutors to lock up people who say things that police and prosecutors feel might be hateful.
Now, C2 you warn about is called the Strong Borders Act, but it would allow them to open your mail, criminalize
Sounds
the
like
use
France
of
to
cash
Germany.
and warrantless searches. What is the justification about the border? How can opening your mail secure the border?
Well, it can't. This piece of legislation, it's 140 pages long. And there is a small chunk of it is actually about border security, and it changes immigration policies. It changes some of the policies that apply to refugee claimants and how quickly they need to apply for refugee status after coming into Canada, et cetera, et cetera. So there's a small portion of this Strong Borders Act which is actually on point. It's actually pertains to our borders and our refugee policies. But then they add on all kinds of stuff like the Authorized Access to Information Act, which would be a new piece of legislation that would give government officials the authority to do warrantless searches of the computers and cell phones of Canadians. Has nothing to do with the borders, but they just want to, sneak it by, slip it through under this big 140-page piece of legislation.
Now, you also say possibly they could bring back the Online Harms Act. And again, you can't legislate a feeling in a free country. I can feel as vile as I want if I'm truly living in a free country. That's my right. But the Online Harms Act would allow prosecution for offensive speech. And the idea that you talked about preemptively punishing your neighbor. So what is the mechanism to tell on your neighbor?
So this Online Harms Act was on track to get passed into law prior to the election that we had in April 2025. With the election, it died on the order paper, so to speak. It didn't go through because it hadn't been passed yet before the election was called. If they bring this back, one of the provisions in the Online Harms Act is that if a neighbor fears that you are going to commit a hate speech crime in the future, they can apply to court, and potentially, if the judge believes your neighbor that you might get into hate speech, you could be placed under house arrest, ankle bracelets, and be subjected to a curfew, et cetera, without.
Did you hear that? If this passes through and you actually go against what they prefer as preferred speech versus hate speech, you will get arrested and put on house arrest, or even worse, a concentration camp. Canadians, you have a mad cow tyrant. You have a mad cow government that doesn't like you. And even worse, we went through this before under Biden, and maybe even Trump right now in some cases. But dude, this is not okay. And when I say take the golden pill, the revolution is now, this is that moment. And it doesn't matter how big or small it is, you have to do it. and especially right then and there. You either fight against it or just leave Canada altogether. Or maybe in some cases, the UK or maybe some parts of the United States. You have to take your path seriously. All right, then, let's play the video and continue on. But before I read the comments, good grief. It is much worse than I thought.
Having been charged with a crime without having been convicted. So it's like Minority Report. This is actually in the bill that died before the last election. Some liberals have talked about bringing this bill back. It also has provisions to empower the Canadian Human Rights Commission to prosecute Canadians for non-criminal offensive speech. And it gives power to the federal cabinet to create all kinds of rules governing the internet and a new digital safety commission to enforce those new rules. It's horrific. If that one gets brought back, again, it's not before the House right now, but if that is brought back and if it's passed along with Bills C2, C8, and C9, if those four things go.
Oh yeah, quick question to Canadians, Americans, and Western countrymen. I have a question for you, and you could comment down below. How do you feel living in your country? If you actually say yes, it's the best country in the world, and no, it's the worst country in the world, comment down below why that's the case, and hopefully that comment will be mentioned in the next video. So yeah, comment down below and pause this video and answer the question if you can. So that way it can boost the YouTube algorithm and recommend videos like this one. So let's get after it.
Through, it's going to be absolute tyranny up here as opposed to only partial tyranny as it is presently.
And so what can Canadians do about it? Because why is there not a collective screaming? I mean, what's hilarious is that the No Kings rally extended into Canada.
Oh.
So they're upset about Trump when it has nothing to do with them.
Brother.
But they're not upset about this real, what could be kingly power.
Well, first of all, there are a lot of Canadians have woken up since our rights and freedoms were violated by governments on a massive scale, starting in March 2020 with all the lockdowns and the vaccine passports, the travel restrictions. Became practically impossible to leave Canada for the better part of a year. You were kind of locked up here in the same way that you would have been locked up in a communist country before the fall of the Berlin Wall. But we've got a growing pro-freedom movement in Canada, and most of those people are people who were asleep until March of 2020. So the lockdowns and the mandatory vaccination policies and so on woke up a lot of people. And as recent proof of that, the government has put Bill C2 kind of on the back burner, and they've pulled out the parts pertaining to the immigration, the border, the refugees, and they've put that into a separate bill to fast track it to get that through. And the really bad stuff has been put onto a lower priority. That's
Oh my gosh, dude. That's just wild. Oh my gosh. Seriously? I mean, America, this is what happens when you actually let stuff like this just get in your way. And with that in mind, let's go ahead and read the comments if that's possible. Well, that's very true. And at the same time, like I said in the previous few videos, Canada is becoming a third world shithole. Just like I said, like what, 3 times or something? Good grief. Total totalitarianism is globalist evil in plain sight. Yep, that's exactly right. That's exactly what it is. So many here in Canada still don't see it. It's scary. Yeah, it's kind of like America if they kept electing bureaucratic authoritarian Democrats and possibly Republicans if we actually just don't get our shit together. I am from Canada, and you are right. We are losing freedom fast. Jeez, man. That is terrible. First, they took the guns. Second, locked up truck drivers, and now this. Oh yeah. I'm kind of I'm kind of surprised that they brought up the truck drivers again because it's been a while and nobody is ever talking about them right now. So that's kind of messed up. Our beautiful country is being destroyed. Sounds like the United Nations 2030 agenda. Yeah, that's totally wild. I mean, like I said, it's just a wild card. I mean, holy shit, dude. It is just wild. Act like sheep, react to being treated like sheep. Communism dressed up like liberalism. It's as old as the hills. Well, ain't that the truth, brother? The best we can do right now is to fight back, and that's all we can really do. You either own your freedom or they own you. And with that in mind, that is it for today's video. If you enjoy videos like this and you want to support me even further than last time, do me a favor, like and share, comment down below, and turn on notifications down below for future posts and videos and possibly shorts within the next, let's just say, the next few days and weeks. Subscribe to the Alex Banister channel. And now, gentlemen, if you believe in masculinity, join Project Masculinity down below. If you believe in freedom and liberty, join the One Liberty Vision down below as well, as you see on the right there. And if you want to see more video reactions like this one, submit the clips and videos to my Gmail right down there and in the description, the alexbanister785gmail.com. I will actually view it in the next video reaction and get my commentary on that one for the next video reaction, and maybe even in my walk-on videos and personal perspective videos as well. So yeah, you'll be happy to know that they'll be used in your emails down below as well. And with that in mind, that is it for today's video, and I will see you in the next one. Take the golden pill. The revolution is now. Good luck in your future endeavors, innovator.